Legendary writer-director Moss Hart is coming back to life with a Broadway version of his rags to riches memoir, Act One. We're here at Lincoln Center to talk to Tony Shalhoub, Santino Fontana, and the rest of the cast. What is Act One all about?
Act One is a rags to riches story. It shows how a kid who is super passionate about the theater grows up and overcomes all these challenges and reaches his goals in the end. And I'll leave that as a surprise.
What is it like to see other people playing the same character that you're playing?
I don't like it. No, I'm kidding. It's great. It's because we're all playing him at different stages. He did transform himself from a little boy who was obsessed with books and made fun of and felt like an outsider to a young man who's going to make himself into something, and then he becomes the toast of the town. So my Moss is very different than Matthew's Moss, which is very different from Tony's Moss. I mean, he really did change based on the situation he was in.
But like we're going to get it as audience members, right?
Oh, yeah. There's going to be signs saying Moss, also Moss, also Moss.
So for all those people who don't know who Moss Hart was, who was he?
Well, Moss Hart was a renowned playwright and director.
He was kind of a one-man army, really. He was a guy who grew up in dire poverty.
He had an 8th grade education, and he had incredible poverty to struggle through. And he worked because he had to bring in $5 a week to keep the family afloat.
As he says in the book, the theater's the last refuge of an unhappy child, and in a way, the first time he saw a play, he knew that's what he wanted to do, and it transported him from a fairly grim life to one of the imagination.
He's definitely a pillar of the American theater. He's definitely a wonderful playwright. And he's definitely somebody worthy of this endeavor.
If you're interested in just the will of somebody, the determination, the work ethic that he had against all odds, changing the course of his life, I think it's a great story on that level.
So have you always thought of yourself as a younger Tony Shalhoub?
No. I love him. I've loved him in Galaxy Quest. I loved him in Monk. I loved him in Wings. I mentioned that, and he said, don't say that again, because it reminds me how old I am.
Why did you want to bring this to Broadway?
Well, the book is so iconic, and it's such a kind of love letter to our theater, our world, our profession. So it just seemed like a kind of a natural. It wasn't like I needed to bring it to Broadway, but I thought it would be fun to bring it to life.
I believe it will hit people on different levels. To see the need to make it, the need to prove to yourself that you can rise above the ashes and make it. And the love and devotion he had for theater, the passion he had.
There are lots of people who love Our Father and who have read Act One, but there is a whole generation out there who've never heard of Our Father. And this wonderful play is going to bring him to and introduce him to a whole generation of people.
It's about a level of kind of courage and stamina and sheer persistence and perseverance that I think should be inspirational to everyone, no matter whether they're in the theater or not.